In the last class, we discussed record and run tests, normal recording, next analog recording. Analog recording. It records user operations based on XY coordinates. And one more thing, one small drawback of is normal recording mode. What is the drawback of normal recording mode?
It doesn't track continuous mouse movement.
It doesn't record continuous mouse operations. Just a minute. Record stop. It is not recording statements. Record put base state stop. Again put base state run. Did you observe? Didn't record na? It didn't play back na? See next analog recording mode. It records user operations or user actions on AUT, user actions on AUT based on XY coordinate, XY coordinates. XY coordinates of either desktop based on user selection, either desktop or application window. Based on user selection. Next, it can record normal operations also, but we can't use this mode for normal operations. Reasons I will explain. See, it can record normal operations also. But we can't use this mode. This mode for normal operations. Observe. Just a minute. How to select analog recording mode? How to select analog record mode?
Record from record.
First normal record. Then you can select analog record mode. Analog recording. Here two options. First option, record relative to the screen. If you select first option, it will record based on desktop XY coordinates. Second option, record relative to the following window. We have to show the application window, then it records based on application window XY coordinates. First, record relative to the screen. Start analog recording. Stop. Put base state, required state for running the test. Run the script. Observe, it is playing back. See, executed properly. Next, again put base state. Move the window. Observe, run the test. Observe. What happened?
It didn't run.
Why? See, first we recorded based on desktop XY coordinates now. That's why after moving the window, it is not unable to record on that window. The same place only it is playing back. Okay. Then second option. So I'm taking the new test. Record. First normal recording. Next analog recording. This time second option. Record relative to the following window. Show the window. Start analog recording. Stop. Put base state. Put mute. Run the script. Okay. Next, again put base state. Move the window. Run the test. Observe. See, this time based on application window desktop coordinates. That's why it executed. Next, it can record normal operations also. Observe. Take new test. Record. Next, select analog recording. Show the dialog box. Start analog recording. Activate the dialog box. Enter agent name. enter password, click OK. Stop recording. Put base state and run the test. See, it is executing. See, executed. But I told we can't use this mode for normal operations. Why? What is the reason? Can you observe?
Because it doesn't show the proper object property and
Say it doesn't generate statements for every operation on AUT. It records all statements in a track file, single line. It records all statements in a track file, all operations in a track file. Script is not readable as well as editable. If any modifications in future, re-recording is the only option. So we can't use this mode for normal operations. And one more drawback also there. See. Drawbacks. First drawback, it occupies more memory. So execution performance will be reduced. It occupies more memory than normal recording. Then UFT, execution performance. Will be reduced. This is one reason, one drawback. Next, it doesn't generate statements or steps for every user action on AUT. It records all operations, all actions. It records all user actions in a track file. So test is not readable. Test is not readable as well as editable. Now tell me, what is analog recording? What is analog recording and drawbacks?
analog recording is it records user action on AUT based on XY coordinate on the desktop.
Based on XY coordinates, either desktop or application window XY coordinates based on user selection. Tester can select. Next, second point.
It can record normal operation.
It can record normal operations also, but we can't use this mode for normal operations, only for continuous mouse operations. Why? Drawbacks. What are the drawbacks?
It occupies more memory than normal recording.
Second one, important one.
It doesn't generate script for every action
On AUT. So script is not readable as well as editable. Next, just see, my requirement is like this. My requirement. See, in my test, some operations normal, some operations, one or two operations, analog operations, continuous mouse operations. Suppose in our test, some actions are normal and one or two continuous mouse operations. Then what is the suitable mode for my requirement? Normal recording mode or analog recording mode?
Analog recording mode.
Why?
Because analog recording mode only we can record continuous mouse operations.
Okay, but here analog recording also not sufficient. It can record normal operations, but script not readable as well as editable. Here you can select hybrid approach. UFT supports hybrid approach for test recording. Here select normal and analog. Normal and analog record modes. See, first select normal recording mode, record normal operations. Whenever you want to record continuous mouse operations, switch to analog record mode. Next, switch off. After continuous mouse operations, switch off and continue with normal recording mode. Hybrid. See, example, record all these are normal operations. Open an order. Next, fax order. Here digital signature is there, continuous mouse operation, agent signature, record, select analog recording, see continuous mouse operation. Next, switch off. Switch off means select once again. Next, normal operations. Click on send button. It is normal operation. Stop. Observe. See, in our test, all these selected statements, normal statements. Next, the selected one, analog statement, run analog. Next, again last two statements, normal. Put base state and run the script. See, executing. Okay, na?
Yes, sir.
Next, take new test. See, already I told, whenever we choose recording for test design, 99% we use normal record mode only. Remaining modes rare use. Next, third one, low level recording. Low level. Low level recording. What is this low level recording? It records some operations on non-supported environments. It also records normal operations, means operations on supported environments. See, it records some operations on non-supported operations, non-supported environments. It can record operations on supported environments. Non-supported environments, suppose in our application one Java object is there, but we don't have Java add-in, that time that is non-supported environment. Suppose in our application one unknown object is there, unknown object, our tool is not supporting that, not recognizing that object, that time that is non-supported environments. See, it records some operations on non-supported environments. See, some operations, not all operations. What are the some operations? They didn't specify. It may record, may not record. Trial and error feature. Suppose if it can record all operations on non-supported environments, then no use of add-ins. It may record, may not record. And one more thing, script also not readable. Observe, first normal recording. Next, low level recording. Select normal recording. Next, select low level recording. Observe, first script, first portion of the script, normal recorded script, second portion analog. Just a minute. It can execute, but script is not readable and it occupies more memory also. See, low level script executing. Observe, what is the difference between normal recorded script and low level recorded script? Same operation, login functionality only. Find the difference. See, here segregation is there. Dialog box, win edit, win button, window, win checkbox, win combo box, etc. But here low level recording considers all objects in two categories only. If it is parent object, window. If it is child object, win object. No other category. Window, win edit, only generic object types. Script is not readable, so it is not suitable for normal operations, only for non-supported environments, that to trial and error feature. Just a minute. Take new test. record, click on this Gmail link, stop. Next, record, low level recording, click on this Gmail link, stop. Find the difference. See here, parent object browser, child object page, subchild object link, click operation. See, low level recording, parent window, child win object, no segregation. Script is not readable. Getting?
Yes, sir. I got it.
Save. Drawbacks. See, it is also occupies more memory than normal recording. Next, it considers all objects in two categories only. Two categories only. If it is parent window, if it is child win object. So test or test script is not readable. Tell me, what is low level recording?
It occupies.
What
it
is
records
low
some
level
operation on non-supported. It
environment?
records operation on non-supported environments.
What are the drawbacks of normal record mode? It occupies more memory than
More
normal
memory than
recording.
normal recording.
Second one,
it consider all objects into two categories: window and win object.
win object. So script is not readable. Okay. Next, last one, insight recording. Insight recording. It is the extension of low level recording. Same. It is new. Insight recording. Same, it records. This is also trial and error feature, no guarantee. It records some operations on non-supported environments, and it captures object images also. For more clarity, same drawbacks. It occupies more memory than normal and analog recording also. Second one, okay, script some readable. select Insight Recording. See, it captured images also na, login, password.
Yes.
Okay,
Yeah,
but
this looks easy to know.
okay, but here also no segregation.
Yes.
See here, window, insight object. Next, insight object. If it is edit box or button, it is showing insight object only. Text is not readable. See, this is about recording modes, but most of the time we use normal recording mode only, 99%. Next, remaining two topics, I'm postponing these two topics. It is not time to discuss. Why? Advantage of recording, disadvantage of recording. It is not time to discuss. Why? Can you tell me the reason? It is not time to discuss. Why?
Because when we do practically, maybe it'll be easier to know.
No. See, at this point of time, we discussed only one method for test design. Recording only. We didn't discuss other methods na. Keyword driven methodology, descriptive programming, etc. Isn't it? If you discuss at least two methods, then you can say these are the advantages, those are the disadvantages. We discussed only one method. So we can't say these are the advantages, those are the disadvantages. After discussing another method, then we can decide. Isn't it?
Yes.
Say, in our UFT test process, first we started generating tests phase. Observe. First, root. This is the root. UFT test process. In this test process, first we selected second phase, generating basic tests. Next, in this second phase, in high level orientation, we have two methods. One is object repository based test design. Another is descriptive programming. First we started object repository based test design. See, again in object repository based test design we have two methods. One is recording, another is keyword driven methodology, generating tests manually without recording, generating tests manually using shared object repositories. Term is keyword driven methodology. See, for first one, recording, no prerequisites. But for second one, some fundamentals required. Suppose if it is recording, if you know the test requirement, if you know the navigation, it is sufficient. You can select record mode and operate the application, then it will record corresponding statements. But for keyword driven methodology, some basics required. First we will discuss fundamentals, then generating tests manually using shared objects. Okay. What are the fundamentals required? First, prerequisites for generating tests. These prerequisites not only for keyword driven methodology, for all types of test design. If it is recording or keyword driven methodology or descriptive programming, these are common. Next, types of objects. Types of objects in UFT test automation. Next, object or repository. See, after discussing these three concepts, then we can generate tests manually. Okay, first, prerequisites for generating tests. Observe. See, first prerequisite, test scenario. Example. See, first in Windows based login functionality. Login functionality in flight reservation application. Flight reservation application. Suppose one web application, same login functionality in Gmail application. Another test scenario. Gmail application. See, this is first one. You must know the test scenario. Next, test flow, or you can say steps, otherwise steps. Steps are navigation. See, first for login functionality. I think you are familiar with this login functionality in flight reservation application. Tell me the steps. What is the first step in this login functionality?
Activate dialog box.
Before activation, from launching.
Okay, launch the app, launch the browser.
Launch the application. It is not browser based. It is desktop application.
Okay, launch the application.
Launch the application. Next, activate means select the dialog box. Select the login dialog box. Next, third step, enter agent name. Enter agent name. Next, fourth step, enter password. Next, fifth step, click OK button. Click OK button. Next, steps for login functionality in Gmail. Here first step, just a minute.
Open browser.
Launch browser, put mute, launch browser, some background noise from your side. After launching, navigate to Gmail home page. Here enter email, enter password, click on sign in button. See, first launch the browser and navigate to Gmail home page. Next, second step, here no activation required. Enter email, enter password. Next, click on sign in button. See, these are the steps or navigation. See, first test scenario, next steps are navigation, next third one, verification points, one or more. One test may have one or more verification points. First verification point for login functionality in flight reservation application. Just a minute. After entering valid agent name and password, click OK. Now login successful. How can you confirm login successful? Here, what is the pass criteria?
Flight reservation window should open.
Yes, flight reservation window should open. Next, fail criteria. Suppose after entering agent name and password, click OK. See, login unsuccessful. It is showing error message. See, check the existence of flight reservation window, flight reservation window, if exists, then pass, otherwise fail. Suppose login functionality in Gmail application. Here also check here how to confirm login functionality in Gmail.
Emails, I mean, as you log in, email should open.
Your user email page should open na. Otherwise it will show error message. See. Check the existence of email page. If exists, then pass, otherwise fail. Next, error handling. See, error handling is important. In manual testing, we handle errors manually, but in test automation, we have to provide error handling statements. It has to handle automatically. Here no user interaction. Error handling. See, first for login functionality. Observe. Suppose if login unsuccessful, then put base state. Close the error pop-up and cancel the login dialog. This is the base state. Close the error pop-up and cancel the login dialog. Next, Gmail. Tell me error handling in Gmail. See, generally it opens, it shows error message in the same page. See, error message in the same page, no pop-up. Here just close the browser window in order to set a base state. Read error message and close the browser window. Next, fifth one, input data. See, some tests require input data, for some tests no input data. But test scenario, navigation or steps, verification points, error handling mandatory for every test. Input data. See, for first one, identify the input data. For login functionality in flight reservation application,
Enter username and password.
Agent name, next password, next email, password, next last the sixth one optional but best practice, add comments in order to increase the readability. See, these are the common prerequisites for all types of test design. If it is recording or keyword driven methodology or descriptive programming. See, these are common for all types of test design. Next, if it is recording, these are enough. If it is keyword driven methodology, some more requirements. What are they? Test objects. If you want to type the script, test objects information. See, if you record, it will record automatically. Say, record just a minute. See here, this dialog is test object. What is test object? I will explain in next chapter. This win button also test object. If it is recording, it will record automatically. But if you want to generate test script manually, you must know the test object names. See, test object names vary from one environment to another. If it is Windows environment, Win button. If it is web environment, web button. If it is VB environment, VB button, etc. Okay. You must know the test objects information now for creating tests manually.
Yes.
How to get test objects information, that we will discuss. Just know that.
Okay. Okay.
Next, methods. Technical term method, business term operation. Methods are operations information. Methods are operations information. Observe. Every statement, every step end with a method. Operation on that object. First method, activate, means select the dialog. Second method, click on the button. See, if it is recording, it will generate statements or steps automatically. If you want to type the test script manually, you must know the methods also. See, tell me, what are the prerequisites for creating tests? Prerequisites for creating tests in UFT.
Test scenario.
Test scenario.
And then comments.
Adding comments optional. Last one, last priority. Tell me in sequence. First one, test scenario. Second one, steps or navigation. Third one, verification points, one or more. Fourth one, error handling.
Error handling.
Next, fifth one, input data if required. Next, sixth one, add comments. These are common prerequisites for all types of test design. If it is recording or keyword driven methodology or descriptive programming. Next, if it is Keyword driven methodology, some more requirements. Test objects information. Next, methods are operations. Methods are operations information. Okay. See.
Okay.
Next I will start the next chapter, then we will take a 10 minutes break. Next chapter also small chapter. Types of objects. Types of objects in UFT automation. Observe. See, in UFT test automation, we work with 4 types of objects. See, in UFT test automation, we work with 4 types of objects. What are the 4 types? First one, runtime objects. Runtime objects. Next, test objects. Third one, utility objects. Next, fourth one, automation objects. Automation objects. See, first I will explain runtime objects. After the break, we will discuss test objects. Runtime objects. What is runtime object? The object present in the application. Observe. This login dialog is runtime object. Agent name edit box runtime object. OK button is runtime object. Help button is runtime object. Cancel button is runtime object. See, runtime objects. The objects present in the application. Present in the software application. The objects present in the application. Here, objects have different states. Say, software objects. Software objects have different states. What are the states? States of software objects. See, one of the state is enabled state. Enabled. See, this agent name enabled, password enabled, ready to operate. We can perform operations on those objects. OK button is enabled object. Cancel button also enabled object. Just a minute. Now observe. Here in this open order dialog box, bottom 2 buttons are there. One button is in enabled state, another button is in disabled state. Can you view? Which one is in enabled?
Yes, I can see that.
Cancel button is in enabled state, ready to operate. but operate. Just a minute. Suppose I want to operate OK button. OK button in disabled state na?
Yes. It is disabled.
Disabled state. Another state disabled. Disabled. Next, visible. If it is enabled or disabled, object is visible. Object is visible. Put mute. Next, hidden. Object is not visible. Next, one more state. Observe this dialog box. In this dialog box, nearly 6 objects available. Parent login, 2 edit boxes childs, 3 button childs. Out of these 6 objects, observe agent name. One specialty is there. One more state of focused. Observe which one is focused in this login dialog box.
I'm sorry, which
Focused object.
Oh, focus.
Agent name or password or OK button or cancel button or help button. Which one is focused?
Agent name.
Why? Cursor blinking. Cursor blinking na. Now observe. This time which one is focused?
Password.
Password. See one more state. Focused. See, these are the different states of runtime objects. Tell me what is runtime object and states of runtime object.
States of runtime. Runtime object. The object present in the application.
States of runtime objects.
It's enabled, disabled, visible, focus.
Enabled, disabled, visible, hidden and focused. See, next test objects. Test objects. See, record the navigation, record or type. See, 3 different applications. Record, observe. Say first application, login dialog, flight reservation application. Here I clicked on cancel button. Next one, calculator application, clear button. Next, Google search button. See, I performed 3 operations on these 3 buttons. See, end user point of view, all these are buttons. Irrespective of the environment, end user calls button is button, edit box is edit box. See, in this login dialog, cancel is button. In this calculator, clear is button. Next, in this Google search, that Google search is button. But how it recorded? Win button, VB button, web button. Observe, what is this win button and what is this web button, VB button?
The child object?
Not child objects. Child object concept is different. Say, observe, in this Google web application, what is this Google search? Button. In this VB application, VB calculator, what is this clear? Button. What is this add? Button. Next, in this flight reservation application, what is this OK cancel? Buttons. See, end user point of view, button is button. If it is Windows environment or VB environment or web environment or SAP environment. But how UFT is recognizing? If it is button in Windows environment, Win button, button in VB environment, VB button, button in web environment, web button. Getting?
Yes, sir, getting.
What are these? Win button, VB button, web button. These are test objects. Test objects. Then what is test object? Reference of runtime object is called test object. Suppose if you join in any company, they give employee ID. Employee ID is reference of employee. Student roll number, reference of student. Say test object, reference of a runtime object is called test object. Say if it is recording, tool can record automatically. If you want to generate test script manually, you must know the test object names. Suppose, for example, button is object, button in standard Windows environment, it is showing as Win button. Next, button in VB environment, Visual Basic environment. VB button. Next, button in web environment, web button. See, sometimes runtime object name and test object names same. For example, browser, runtime object name browser, test object name also browser. Page, test object name also page. Link, test object name also link. Suppose edit box in web environment, web edit, like this. Got the point? What is test object?
Yes. Test objects.
Reference of runtime object.
Runtime objects.
Reference of runtime object.
Runtime objects.
See, test object names vary from one environment to another. For example, button in Windows environment, Win button, button in VB environment, VB button, button in web environment, web button. Just a minute.
Web button.
Test objects. Test object names vary from one environment to another. Suppose if it is recording, tool can generate statements. If you want to generate tests manually, you must know the test objects information. How to know the test object information? No problem. Object spy is there. Using object spy, you can get test object information. Observe. Tools menu, object spy. It is handy feature of UFT. It gets object information. Object information in the sense properties and applicable operations on that object. Object properties and applicable operations on that object. See, take hand icon, show the cancel button. Observe class name in yellow color. What it is showing? Win button. Next, show the VB button, clear button. What is the class name?
VB button.
VB button. Suppose web environment. Take hand icon, show the Google search. What it is showing? Web button. So you no need to remember test object names for any environment. Using object spy, you can get test objects information. See. How to get test object names. Using object spy. Using object spy. Navigation, tools menu, object spy. Suppose if you want to get objects, test objects information environment wise, not only single object, environment wise. Say tools menu, object identification. Here select environment. Suppose my environment is web. Here all objects, browser, frame, image, link, page. Suppose my environment is Visual Basic. Here VB button, all objects in VB environment. Standard Windows, dialog, static, Win button, Win calendar, Win checkbox, all test objects in standard Windows environment. Observe how to get test object names. It's one by one only. Next, how to get all test object names in an environment. See, using object identification feature. Using object identification. Navigation, tools menu, object identification, Next, select environment. Then it will show all objects in that environment. See, tools menu, object identification, select environment, then you can get all objects in that environment. Next, one more thing, test objects, three types. One is constant objects. What is constant object? Whose property values are fixed. See, properties values are fixed every time same. Next, dynamic objects. See, properties values change dynamically throughout the execution. Properties values change dynamically throughout the execution. Dynamic objects. Observe. I will show one dynamic object. See, this is dialog box. What is the label of this dialog box? What is the name of this dialog box?
Fax order number 1.
Fax order number 1. Next, suppose same dialog box. Now what is the label of this dialog box? Fax order number 7 na. Observe, this is constant object or dynamic object? Is it constant object or dynamic object, this fax order?
Constant object.
Constant object. Earlier it was fax order number 1, this time fax order number 7. Is it constant object? Dynamic object. Dynamic object. Properties values not fixed. Earlier it was fax order number 1, this time fax order number 7. Next time maybe another. Suppose see fax order number 3. This is dynamic object. For example, login dialog. See, labeled login. Second time login. Third time login. This is constant object. See, dynamic objects. Next, one more flavor also there. Duplicate objects. Duplicate objects. What are duplicate objects? Two or more objects with similar description. Same. See, same names or same properties. Two or more objects. Two or more objects with same properties. See, this is the brief introduction about test objects. See once again, test object, reference of runtime object. Reference of runtime object is called test object. Next, test object names vary from one environment to another. Then how to get test object names? Using object spy or using object identification, you can get complete environment test object names. If you want to get single object test object name, use object spy. Next, different types of test objects: constant objects, dynamic objects, and duplicate objects. See, no issues with constant objects. If you record or type, UFT can recognize. Suppose, what about dynamic objects? Say, using regular expressions, just remember in practical chapters I will show. Using regular expressions, we can handle dynamic objects. Next, duplicate objects. Using index property, just remember, using index property, we can handle duplicate objects. Okay, na? Test objects. Any confusion?
No confusion, sir.
Okay, cool. See, next, third type of objects, utility objects. Say, utility objects are UFT reserved objects used for testing and result reporting. See, they are UFT reserved objects used for testing and result reporting. See, every utility object is unique, purpose unique. Today I will introduce one utility object. Day by day we will discuss remaining utility objects. Say, example, system util single word. Next, repositories collection. Next, environment. Services, a reporter, etc. Every utility object is unique. First I am going to discuss system util. Today I will introduce system util. What is system util? It is for launching applications. How to launch? Launch software applications. Suppose if it is Windows based application, standard Windows means a desktop application. Syntax is system util dot run within double quotes path of the application. Next, if it is web-based application, syntax system util dot run path of the browser, comma URL. So I will show example. System util dot run. UFT provides context help. Next, within double quotes, path of the AUT. Next, if it is web-based application, system util dot run. Next, path of the browser, comma URL. Run. See, Windows based application. Next, web based application. Launching na.
Yes, it's launching. Yeah.
See.
Yes.
Instead of system util, already you asked na, invoke application. Just a minute. This is an example for Windows based application. For web based, just a minute. Invoke application, it is utility statement, it's not object. Next, path of the application. Just run the script. This invoke application is utility statement. Say, system util is utility object. Next, invoke application, not case sensitive, is utility statement. Observe what is the difference, which one is which one is more useful. See, using invoke application we can launch application, only launching. Using system util you can close error pop-ups also, other operations also. See, system util is object. See, other methods also, not only run method, close, descendant, process, other methods also there. You can use other operations also. You can perform other operations also using system util. But in invoke application, simple purpose, single purpose, only launching application. But system util, not only for launching application, you can close error pop-ups also. Getting this point?
Yes, I got it, yes.
Which one is more useful? Invoke application or system util?
System util.
System util.
System util.
Good. Say, this is a brief introduction about utility objects. Utility objects, they are UFT reserved objects used for testing and result reporting. Every utility object is unique. Today I introduced one utility object called system util. Day by day we will discuss remaining utility objects. Next, last one, automation objects. See, already I introduced these automation objects in UFT test process chapters. See, automation objects are user defined objects. Say, test object, system defined, predefined, we can't change the names. Utility objects, predefined, user can't change the names. But automation objects, user defined, we can use our own names. Automation objects are user defined objects. User can define. Objects used to work with drives, folders, files and databases. Used to work with drives, folders, files and databases. See, already I introduced some automation objects. Automation objects belongs to VB script. See, earlier I introduced. See, recollect. File system object. What is the purpose of file system object?
To read the flat file.
Not only flat files, it is used to work with drives, folders. We can create and delete folders now. Folders and flat files. Next, class value. What is the class value for creating file system object? So in UFT test process chapter we discussed.
What?
You need to remember by heart.
Excel.application.
No, it is not Excel object. scripting dot, you need to remember these class values. No context help for getting class values. Not case sensitive. File system object. Next, Excel application. Excel application object. Purpose, it is used to perform operations on Excel application. Operations on Excel application, or you can say Excel files. You can work with multiple Excel files also. Class value, Excel dot application. Next, Word application object. Word application object. Purpose, it is used to perform operations on Word application, or you can say Word documents. Word application, or you can say Word documents. Class value, Word dot application. Word dot application. See, in VB script we have several object models, but our test automation point of view, 4 or 5 object models important. Next, database connection object. Database connection object. Purpose of database connection object. Used to connect to a database, any database. Connection string only vary from one database to another. Next, database record set object. Purpose, it is used to perform operations on database tables, nothing but records. It is used to perform operations on database tables. Nothing but records. Next, class value. Just a minute. Class value for database connection object. ADODB dot connection. Next, class value for a record set object. ADO, ActiveX data objects database dot record set. Next, one more object. Dictionary object. What is the purpose of dictionary object?
It is used to connect.
Not connect. It is used to define key value pairs. Key and value pairs. It is used to define key value pairs. See, class value scripting dot dictionary within double quotes. Say in our test automation using UFT, we work with these 4 types of objects. Runtime objects, the objects that present in the application, objects present in the application. Next, test objects, reference of runtime objects. Next, utility objects. Utility objects are UFT reserved objects used for testing and result reporting. Last one, automation objects. They are user defined objects used to work with drives, folders, files and databases. Okay na?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Next I will start next chapter and we will continue next class. See, important chapter, concentrate, put mute. Important chapter. Object repository. Object repository. See, repository, it is common term, global term. You can find this repository term in manual testing also. Repository means a common storage place. A common storage place. See, object repository, it is a storage place for storing objects information. What type of objects? Runtime objects, or test objects, or utility objects, or automation objects? Test objects. It is a storage place for storing test objects information. Observe. Launch object repository. You know how to launch. Resources menu, object repository. Just a minute. What type of objects?
Test objects.
Test objects. See.
Test objects.
Okay, good. See. It is a storage place for storing test objects information. It is a storage place for storing test objects information. See, in UFT we have 2 types of object repository. See, 2 types of object repository in UFT. One is local repository, local object repository. Another is shared object repository. First one, local object repository. Second one, shared object repository. Local object repository, shared object repository. Local object repository file, it is file, it is internal file. User no need to maintain internal files. UFT maintains internal files. it saves along with the test script. If you save the test, local repository files will be saved along with the test. Shared repository, external file, user has to create and maintain external files. See, this is internal file. This is external file. Extension TSR, test shared repository. See, first I will explain local repository and shared repository in the next class. What is local repository? See, UFT creates a local repository for every action. It is action level. Suppose in our test only one action, then only one local repository. Suppose in our test 4 actions, then 4 local repositories. UFT creates a local repository for every action automatically during recording. See, UFT creates a local repository. UFT creates a local repository for every action during recording. See, UFT creates local repositories, but user can edit local objects. See, user means tester. User can edit local objects. See, user can add some more objects. Next, rename objects. Next, delete objects. Next, local repository. Local repository file is internal file saves along with the test script. Along with the test. Next point, UFT maintains local repositories, internal files. User no need to maintain. See, just a minute. UFT maintains local repositories. See, this is a brief introduction about local repository. Just last 2 minutes. See, take new test. Just a minute. Take new test. Open object repository. Launch object repository. Blank. Why? It is new test. Next, record Activate the dialog box. Enter agent name. Enter password. Click OK. Stop. Launch object repository. Resources. Object repository. See objects information stored. Here how many actions? Only one action. Only one action in this test, one object repository. For example, two actions. Just a minute. Just I am renaming this action also. Identification purpose. Action name login. Next, create one more action. Design menu call to new action. Second action, open order. Open order. Create a record script for open order. See login script already recorded. Next, open order. Select open order and record. Open order. Stop recording. Now how many actions in this test? Two actions. One is login, another is open order. Launch object repository, resources, object repository. How many repositories? How many local repositories? Two repositories. Login, open order. See login. These are the login objects. Next, open order. Open order objects. Okay. This is about local object repository.